And we're learning more about the man accused of fatally shooting two New York City police officers. Ishmael Brinsley had an extensive police record ranging from petty theft in Ohio to shooting a stolen gun in a Georgia street. And relatives told authorities that Brinsley has taken medication for mental problems. He reportedly told bystanders to watch him ambush his victims who sat in their patrol car. Brinsley fired 4 shots into the vehicle and fled into a subway station. Witnesses flagged down police, and he reportedly shot himself to death. Dr. N.G. Berril is director of the New York Center for Neuro-psychology and Forensic Behavioral Sciences, and he joins us. Welcome to Arise America, Dr. Berril. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Sure.
So based on, just did a little bit of a recap of the story, as well as a little bit of what little we know about Ishmael Brinsley, based on the few details that we have so far, can you give us a description, if you will, or a profile of this kind of person and what might motivate them to commit such a random act of violence?
Well, look, this guy was probably a kettle waiting to boil over. Long before the grand juries failed to indict the police officers in Missouri and New York, you had this fellow running around in the streets, perhaps mentally ill, getting himself into trouble and feeling, essentially, I would guess, increasingly frustrated, angry. By all accounts, relatives were a bit afraid of him. And often, these individuals run into current events which really kind of excite them and bring sort of that anger and rage to the forefront. So, I would say it's almost like a perfect storm, the social events combined with his own psychopathology, his own ability to commit a violent act, his access to a weapon. And he decides to strike out first at a girlfriend for reasons unknown. I know his mother, I guess, lived in New York, so he runs to New York where he has relatives. And I think perhaps surmising that this could be the end for him, decides to go out in this kind of fantastic, quote, blaze of glory. I mean, I don't know what else you can say. I mean,
right. And speaking of that, Dr. Berril, what do you make of the fact that, first of all, he posted his intentions on Instagram in would that the Baltimore Police Department could have adequately warned the Brooklyn precinct before anything happened, but he put his intentions on Instagram. He stopped people, strangers on the street, presumably, and said, watch what I'm about to do. What does that tell you about him?
Well, that he was gearing up in his own head. The fantasy had begun. And it's sort of a grandiose fantasy. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. I'm going to be the hero. And I'm using, again, the word hero in quotes. I'm going to do something bigger than myself. He seizes, or did seize, on the most negative dimensions, I guess, of what was going on, and felt that, maybe through telling strangers, he was bolstering his courage to do this. Perhaps somebody would say to him, oh, yeah, go ahead and do that. Whatever he was trying to accomplish, perhaps encouragement in some kind of weird way. Obviously, he was not put together tightly, or he was put together too tightly, depending on how you look at it, and was not, thinking this thing through in a rational way. This was his own pathologic attempt to sort of ride the wave of current upset and anxiety in the city, and do something that he felt would be bold, set him apart from other people, garner some attention. And it's all founded on sort of a perverted idea about what's positive and what's worthy of attention.
We'll have to leave it right there for now, Dr. N.G. Berril. Thank you so much, Dr. Berril. And you're watching Arise America.